We are making apple fritters, and the first time we did it, I used the 1927 recipe, and it didn't have cinnamon and nothing in it. Today, we're going to make them the right way. Apple fritters the right way, just for you. All right, I got one apple peeled already. We're going to get our apples started first because I'm going to cook them a little bit, and I always just try to cut it flat on the bottom like that. And then I cut off the top. This is just how I do it. And then I peel it. Now, these are Golden Delicious. They are my favorite apple to cook with. And I have baked a lot of different apples and tasted them. And this is one of my very favorites. It is sweet, it is tart, and delicious. So, some of them are sweet, some of them are tart, and there's a few that are sweet and tart. And this is my favorite one. It gets soft pretty quick, so it's easy to cook with. You don't have to wait forever on it. Okay? And now I'm just going to core them. We're going to chop these up and get them in some sugar and butter over here in a skillet.
Yeah, when she made that 1927 recipe, it got tons of views. But it was such an old recipe that it was really plain.
Yeah, it was.
Everybody was like, why don't you use cinnamon? Because we're just doing what the recipe said.
Uh-oh, I wasn't watching what I was doing.
What'd you do?
Cut it sideways.
Oh.
Like really sideways.
Wow.
That's all right. So anyway, we're making these a little different than we did the first ones. We're going to make these so that they, the apples are cooked just a little bit and they're not raw in there. And some cinnamon and butter and sugar. That makes them even better. And then we're going to drop our fritters in some good old oil. And I might drop some butter down in the oil like I do with my fried pies. Because your flour, whatever you're frying it in, does soak up some of the oil. I mean, you do eat some of that. So wouldn't you rather be eating butter than corn oil? Don't you think that would be tastier? Now, most people couldn't afford to do that if they made these in a store or nothing, but you can afford to do it at home. Unless you want to make these every day for breakfast.
Yeah.
Then you might decide, oh, well, I don't need that much butter. But me and Chris haven't had these in a while. And you should be able to cook them up and freeze them. Warm them in your air fryer if you've got an air fryer. And if you don't, this is a good excuse to get one. I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't want to live without my air fryer. I tell people all the time it's the best thing invented since the microwave for the kitchen. And I truly believe that 100%.
Yeah, we love our air fryer. The first time we made this, Tammy, a bunch of people asked, because I remember they asked if they could bake them. So I know they're going to end up asking that.
Okay. Well, it's according to what the dough turns out looking like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's pretty wet.
Yeah.
All right, I got to think about what I'm doing. I'm putting apples in here with 3 tablespoons of butter. And so I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of butter in here. And we'll probably drop the rest of this butter down in our grease when we fry up our fritters, okay? So you're going to put these in here with your apples. And some sugar. And you're just going to cook them until they're a little bit soft. Okay? And how much sugar? A 1/3 cup.
1/3 cup.
Which is 3 tablespoons. No, it's not 3 tablespoons. An 1/8 cup is 3 tablespoons.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 1/3 cup. That's did you get me out a 1/3?
Yep. Yep.
Chris, help me get started. Yep. All right, so we're just going to let these simmer in that butter and the sugar for a minute while we mix up our dough and make our glaze. And then by the time we get our dough made and our glaze made, these should be ready to put in our dough. Okay? That was fast. So if you do like we did and have everything laid out, it shouldn't take you that long to make these. Now I'm going to fry these today in my wok because a wok is kind of got a deep center part in a small area, and you don't have to use as much oil, I don't think, to be able to fry something. All right, we're going to do our topping next. It's simple. All it is a cup of powdered sugar.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of sugar. If you are concerned about sugar.
Yeah, this is pretty much a donut.
This is a sweet.
This ain't something you can make for a diabetic.
Nope.
But now you could eat, if your sugar's not terrible, you know what you can eat and what you can't.
Yeah,
you might could eat a half of one. You know, I mean, you don't have to eat 4 or 5. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
You're in charge of your.
Yeah, you're in charge of your own sugar count. Not I. I'll eat 1.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you're like some diabetics, you just won't eat supper. You won't eat a donut. I mean, they do that. I know they do. All right, here you go. The glaze is some vanilla, powdered sugar, and milk. 3 tablespoons of milk, which is an 1/8 cup. And we're actually just going to dip the fritters down in this when we get them done. Now let me give you a whisk. Y'all want to come over here and look at these?
There they go.
Looking good already. And I do have this turned up because I want these to get done in time for us to use them. And like I said, the Golden Delicious is a perfect apple to use to cook with. It does do really well. Does good. All right. Whisk. I forgot what I want my liquor for.
Whisk.
All right, let's whisk this together. And this is going to be our glaze. Simple and easy glaze. I'm going to beat it a little bit because that powdered sugar was a little bit lumpy. And there you have it. Simple, dimple, easy peasy, breezy. We'll set this right here and we'll dip the fritter and lay it out on this when we get it done. All right, next, moving along. Dough. 1 cup of flour. This is all-purpose flour. One and a half teaspoons of baking powder. 1 and 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Salt's gonna make it taste good. And cinnamon is a teaspoon. And if you want to use apple pie spice, you can. That's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And an egg and a 1/3 cup of milk. I'm just going to use this thing since I got it dirty already. 1/3 cup of milk. An egg from our chicken. Balkity balk. That's it.
Easy.
Easy breezy.
Now we had one viewer saying that they're glad we're back. We haven't been anywhere. We make 4 or 5 videos a week. So You may need to check your notifications, see if you got them checked, so you'll know when we make videos. And you won't
Yep.
miss them.
We were just on here yesterday.
Yeah, we're on here about every day.
Not every day.
Well,
About 4 days a week.
in general. Yeah, at least 4 days.
Now you can see that batter. And that is why you can't bake it. Because it's a wetter batter. Almost like a, not quite as runny as a funnel cake, but kind of runny. Okay? Oh, that smells good. Smells good. Now the apples have got the sugar in them.
Did you put any cinnamon in the apples? Because it calls for it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
I didn't think it did.
I think it does. Yeah.
I can look.
You can look at it.
Apples, a half teaspoon of cinnamon. You're right. Let's put some cinnamon in these.
Is it expensive to raise chickens? For us, yes.
Yes.
Because we treat them like our pets.
A lot more expensive than just buying your eggs, even if the eggs are high. It's still way.
That's
Their
crazy.
feed, we only have 12 chickens. And they go through a bag of feed in how many days, Chris? And tell them how much.
It's the feed that we buy is over $20, and they stay real healthy, and they lay a lot of eggs with it.
How long does it last?
It lasts
bag of it?
about 2 weeks, maybe.
So 2 weeks, you're giving them $20 worth of feed, and then we give them treats.
They get treats,
And that's probably $10 worth. So it's $30 every 2 weeks. Or
But now, if you got a place where you can, have a bunch of chickens and let them do their thing and have babies and all that stuff, then it probably is,
I tell you one thing we have found, I don't know if any of y'all have chickens, but we have found that when we feed them the pellets instead of the crumble, that we use less feed. In other words, it lasts longer. It might cost a little more to buy,
fills them up.
but it's worth it because it fills them up more than the crumble does. And so that makes a big difference. If you've never tried to buy the pellets, you might want to try that, and you won't be spending quite as much on your feed in the long run.
And we don't eat our chickens, but we could, I guess.
We could. We feed them a high protein food.
Yeah.
So we feed them the kind of food you would feed a chicken that you do
Meat
eat.
bird. Yeah.
And the reason we do that is just because they make better eggs. They do better at laying their eggs. Looks good. Starting to want to fluff up a little bit. Now, it's up to you how long you want to cook these apples. I personally think they're ready. I mean, I don't want them to be super soft. Whoops. But they are soft. And that's up to you how much you want to cook them, okay? That's a lot of apples to go in this much batter.
You think you need to
I might.
half of them?
Yeah, I think I'll mix it and see what I think first. Ooh, that looks good.
And they smell
Wonderful.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Ooh, that's a lot of apples. Y'all, I'm gonna leave just a few of them out. Maybe my apples were bigger than they had to be.
We can have them with.
Ooh, that looks good.
Biscuits.
All right, let's come on over here. We're gonna fry them up. Now, see, that added the sugar to the dough, and you can see all those apples in that dough.
It's really good.
I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be 1,000 times better than the 1927 recipe because it's got cinnamon and sugar and Mama's love in it. Not that the 27 didn't, but it was an old simple farmhand recipe where they probably didn't have the money for all the extras,
We got a bunch of views on that. How many views did we get on that? Wasn't it like
I don't even know.
3
but
million views?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Something crazy. Broke the internet.
Oh, yeah. It's ready already. All right, let's do this, y'all.
go. Yeah, I think this is going to be my supper.
Yep.
I think I'm going to be eating anything else.
Some coffee and apple fritters. That's what we'll have for dinner. Look at all them apples in there, y'all. Oh, my stars. I hope if you watched my first video, you watch this one, because I'm going to tell you, if you make these, and a lot of people have already made these because these are in my 4th cookbook, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, these are delicious. There's a baby one. Let's get it out.
Does the hot apples deflate the batter?
No, this batter is fluffy as it can be.
Yeah, you can see the fritters there.
It is doing great. Just as fat and pretty and fluffy as it can be. As it can be.
I'm excited about this one.
I know. Sometimes, you know, that's the good thing about recipes is you can always, I don't care what kind of recipe it is, I believe it can be improved. Even this one. I guess you could use apple pie spice and you might like it better, but I'm going to tell you, don't ever think you can't add something or take away to a recipe to make it your own. Even if it's mine, I don't care. I share my recipes because I want people to, gonna want to cook these long enough that they're not raw in the middle, okay? So we're going to half it and make sure it's not on this first one. Just because it's good to have that grease down low enough that it can sit there for a few minutes. Oh, it's done. Ooh, it's hot too. Hot for dipping. This is just going to be our test piece, I guess. I got to get the rest of them out.
Our cookbooks are on collardvalleycooks.com if you want to get a cookbook.
I can let these cool a minute before I dip them again because, y'all, they're hot. They're too hot for me to dip right now. We'll start the other ones. And it's according to how hot your grease is as to, you know, how dark they get. I've turned it down, and so I don't know if these will be any lighter, but they should.
We live about 40 minutes from Savannah. As the crow flies, we're pretty close to Savannah, but we have to go because of the rivers and stuff.
Okay, let's see if I can dip these now. Woo! Hot! It's going to have to cool a second before we can eat one. We'll be able to taste the one I broke up.
Yeah. And you can just put sugar on them or whatever, make them the way you want to. You don't have to.
Oh, the glaze is easy.
Yeah.
It's really easy when you do it that way instead of trying to pour it over them.
Yeah.
You know, if you just take it and dip it, it's so much easier. Now, these are going to be lighter, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. So if you turn your oil down a little bit, you can make them lighter. This batch will be lighter, a lot lighter. I'm going to turn them back up a little bit.
Yeah, now they're really cooking slow. I just ate that one that little bitty one that she had in there.
Here's just an apple. Oh, no, it's not. I think that's just an apple.
Yep.
But it's too hard for you to taste, dear.
Fried apple.
Yep, I got it too low, y'all. Now I got to turn it up. It's the way grease is. It goes up and down pretty fast with gas. And turn that one back over. All right, let's try one while we're finishing these up.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look at it? It's full of cinnamon, full of apples.
That's way more apples than you get at the grocery store or the donut place. Mmm. These are so good. That little bite I had, I was about to die.
Oh my goodness. Now this is for real.
It's a treat, ain't it?
Apple fritters the right way. It's good. Woo! Holy smoke, Ola. These are a pretty color.
Yeah.
Very pretty. Now I got to turn it down just a notch or get them too brown on that side.
So that was all the batter, right? So
Yep.
it made 4, 7, 8, 9. It makes about 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Full
6, 7,
spoon
8, 9. Yep, about 10.
Y'all probably want to make more than 10. Need to double this recipe.
Yum, it's really, really good. Just come and look at all the apples hanging out of these because they were in the bottom of the bowl. And the dough has got plenty of cinnamon and stuff in it. I forgot to put the butter in the oil. But golly, you can't tell. I mean, they're delicious. But look, see how the dough is? You can tell all that cinnamon's in there. Ooh, they're sweet. They are very sweet. If you wanted to, you could just use powdered sugar if you don't want to get them as sweet.
Yeah, because they are sweet now, which is what I like.
Which is, yeah, Chris is a sweet-aholic.
You can't make something too sweet for me.
But they're almost over the top sweet. But most people would think they weren't. But I'm a bread lover, so. Look at those little apples. All right, that's it. And you should be able to reuse this grease because it ain't got nothing bad in it. You know, the only time I don't reuse grease is if it's got meat in it. Watch out, Happy. So I can't dip these right this second, y'all. Again, that one.
Now that's a cast iron wok. A couple of people are asking about that.
It's a lightweight cast iron wok.
Yeah.
And I have a link. And I'll tag it for the Walmart link on here on YouTube. And I also have a link on my website if you want to buy it through Amazon. And it's not an expensive wok. And I've had it for a long time, hadn't I, Chris?
Yes.
And I love it. Love this thing. And it's not heavy. It's very fun to cook with. It's a great thing to cook with. Let me wash my hands and I'll let Chris taste one for y'all. And did you show them the recipe in the book?
Nope.
So if you haven't bought our Volume 4 cookbook, they're all on sale right now. That's the recipe, apple fritters. And I'm going to show y'all the butterfly I just finished real quick and then let Chris taste these.
And if you want the recipe in PDF, you can get it on carvalleycooks.com if you don't want to buy a cookbook.
I've been doing diamond dots. I got this at Walmart. I think it was around, around $12 or something.
Yeah.
And I just clamped it to a board. And because I noticed if you try to do these and I'm laying down on a table, it hurts your neck. So I clamped it to a board, and at night I sit it while I'm watching TV, and I hold it up right like this and put the dots on so that it doesn't hurt my neck. So if you haven't thought of that, if you do this and you haven't thought to clip it to something, and you can put these on upright because they're sticky.
Kind of like the old Light Bright thing,
Yeah.
didn't it? A little bit. All right. So I'm going to try one.
Yeah.
I told y'all I snuck a couple of them, but I'll eat this one if I have to. Lord, and that is weak.
Isn't it way better than the first ones?
100 times. Look,
I know it. It is 100 times better. I mean, we're not kidding, y'all. You can get this.
The sugar and the
We're not kidding.
cinnamon.
Because the first recipe didn't have the apples cooked with the sugar and the butter, and
Yeah, if you make them yourself, the donut place is not going to satisfy you.
no. They're better, way better than what you get at the store because they got those big chunks of apples in them. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Remember, anything you see we use in the kitchen, all the way down to the spoon, you can get through our links. And I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday. We're going to have a delicious apple fritter supper. Y'all come back and see us where we cook at Collard Valley Cooks. Here, let me pick them up. Oh, they're so good. I wish y'all could have one. Where we cook like our mamas did. Bye, y'all. Love ya. Volume 4.